It literally looks like the real thing.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Royalty Soaps. Today we are going to be making candles that look like food. I have had this video on my roster for 2 years, and after testing, I'm not even joking, over 50 candles, I finally have a formula that works. Also, please welcome back to the chat, the flight suit. Or the jumpsuit, as you guys may remember, for those of you who've been watching Royalty Soaps for 10 plus years. So what are we doing? We are crafting a triple wick candle with embeds. I'm going to be sharing with you the wicks that I'm using, the wax I'm using, the fragrances, everything, every step of the way. And we're going to be crafting lots of different types of food candles, including a peach cobbler candle, a cookies and cream candle. Food candles are so appealing on so many levels, and they are spiking in popularity. Admittedly, when I planned to make this video about a year ago, they were even more popular, but I noticed that this trend rolls around every summer and springtime. Most people, when they purchase one of these, don't burn it, but I am crafting them so that if you do burn them, they'll burn well. Let's talk about the ingredients. My wax melter is from 2 Auto. They actually gifted me this wax melter a while back. They have really good melters. This is the one that I reach for. I have 3 different melters. I do like this one the best because it has the most capacity, and I feel like the melting is the most even. The wax we're using is Golden Brand's 464. I have a love-hate relationship with this wax. Sometimes you get a good batch. Other times I've had batches that ended up with a lot of sinkholes. It's a soy wax, which means it is more finicky, but for the purpose of doing frosting on top of these, I have just found that the 464 consistently outperformed all of my other options, including paraffin blends, sort of luxury blends with like coconut and apricot and shea and all of that sort of stuff. The fragrances we're using today are from the Flaming Candle Company. I wish this video was sponsored by Flaming Candle Co. because they got a lot of my money, but it's because their fragrance oils, particularly in soy wax, just perform, I mean, they just blow competition out of the water, in my opinion. The wicks I'm using are the Premier 720 wicks from Hive and Honey. Hive and Honey is a third-party distributor for this wick. There are other people who carry the wick, including the Flaming Candle Company and Black Tie Candle Company. I have purchased from both of them the Premier wicks. They're all exactly the same. They work great. This is what I had on hand. I'm using 3 other 720 wicks in a Libby jar that I will link for you down below. I can't remember exactly the lot number. I think it's a 3406 or something. I am purposefully under wicking these candles. I do not want that heat to go to the very edge. It is a thin walled glass jar. I'm just very cautious about that, especially whenever you have embeds. I under wick these and then I tell people, hey, if there's any wax left in the jar, put it in a wax melter. And then for coloring, I'll be using an assortment of candle dyes that I have picked up throughout the years from various suppliers, including Nature's Garden, Hive and Honey, Candle Science, etc. And let's talk about embeds. I have a lot of different embeds. If you don't want to buy a bunch of silicone molds, you don't want to have to make a bunch of embeds, there are actually people on Etsy and other small business websites who sell pre-made candle embeds. You're gonna pay for it because it's a luxury item. But what I did was buy a lot of candle embeds. I said, hey, whatever you got, I'll take it. I paid a flat fee, and when they got here, I designed the candles based on the embeds, not the other way around. The fellow maker that I purchased these from no longer makes dessert-themed candles, but shout out to Whipped Soap Co. They are the ones that crafted these. They all came perfect. Everything was labeled, couldn't be happier. So if you're a fellow maker looking for fun stuff, Whipped Soap Co. often does de-stash sales in their Instagram stories. So that's how I got these, and they're really great. For our first candle, we will be crafting peach cobbler, which arguably is going to be one of the harder ones, but you know me. I'm always going to make things hard on myself. First thing that I'm going to do after wicking my jars is apply these wick holders. I purchased them from a company that I can't remember off the top of my head, but I will leave y'all a link down in the description box below. They make custom wick holders for like each type of jar, which is so great. So to apply them, all you have to do is weave each wick into their proper spot, give it a turn so that everything lines up perfectly so that nothing is leaning, and then I like to give mine a quick bend just so that they don't lean forward. This does make your job significantly easier, and they make them for single wick, triple wick, like you get to pick the wick amount and the jar size. So it's really, really, really nice. I'm going to be making 5 candles of each type of candle. So I should end up with 30 by the end of this project. It is going to take multiple days, but I just know this is the type of video you guys like to see. Last one. I'm going to line it up here. Perfect. Okay, now I have to measure out our base layer. This I'm going to try to make a peachy color. I have never been that gifted in accurately coloring wax, but we're going to do the best we can. I'm going to start by measuring out 10 ounces of liquid wax. It's a nice round number. And then I'm going to try to use the peaches that I purchased as sort of like, oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like, which I would say kind of yellow, a little orange. We're going to start with 1 drop of the lemon eco dye from Hive and Honey and 1 drop of orange from Spectrum Colors, which I believe is what Nature's Garden carries. Gonna mix that up real good. I am fragrancing this candle with Georgia Peach. Such a good scent. Okay, I think we need another drop of orange. I'm not entirely sure. I'm kind of just guessing, but I'm pretty sure we need it. This color looks pretty good. And now I'm gonna pour in about 5 ounces into each jar and mix up my next little batch. This is a positively nerve-wracking thing to do because I don't want to bump the candle even a little or it will show up on the sides. I'm literally holding my breath. Here's a fun fact. Whenever I learned how to make soap at my homeschool co-op when I was 16 years old, I actually learned to make candles first. It was a soap and a candle class, and the first candle we made was a candle that looked like a milkshake. My teacher had got one of those little like old-fashioned ice cream cups from the dollar store. We put 1 wick in it, we filled it up with whatever color and fragrance we wanted, and then we made like whipped cream on the top and added little embeds. It was literally the first handmade project I had ever done in that class, like on that sort of a scale, working with real fragrance oil from a real supplier, like big girl grown-up ingredients, and I loved it. So this is kind of a throwback to one of the first projects I literally ever made. It's the next day. My candles have set up perfectly. Look at that color. Like, come on, this couldn't be more perfect for peach. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and snip all of these individual wicks while it is still in this form and before I add the candle frosting. These candle nippers are a godsend. Never ever ever use scissors ever again. Just trust me, they're like $8 on Amazon and it will make your life so much easier. Like literally, hello, you're done. Then I can remove my wick holder. Super easy. Ta-da. Now, these are a little bit too long, but while I'm piping the frosting, I want to keep them that way. I would rather have them a little too long that have to be trimmed down than too short and you can't light them. Admittedly, these peaches already looked super good, but to make them that much more realistic, I took a teeny tiny bit of red mica and just put it on the edge where a peach would be clinging to the pit. That part of the peach is always just a teensy tiny bit more red, and because I'm trying to make these look as realistic as possible, I went the extra mile and just did a little touch up. I've also got my crumble sitting here off to the side for after I do the frosting, and I'm thinking about even adding a jelly wax drizzle drizzle, like to make it look even more like peach cobbler. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. We'll see how it looks once I get the embeds in. Now, for those of you who think, Katie, this is the most fun video I've ever seen, I want to make food candles, I can highly recommend this piece of educational content. It is this book from The Candle Chef. Pies, drinks, sundaes, cupcakes, whipping, embeds, wick chart, etc., etc. It is all in this big book. It comes in a binder so that you can put your own recipes in the back. And as I was prepping for this particular video, I found this book incredibly helpful. AJ is the author of this book, and they have a dessert candle school Patreon. I mean, incredible, come on. Where they help you along with your candle dessert making journey. There are many different candle makers out there that have master classes, mini courses, etc., on gel wax, dessert candles, but after purchasing a fair few of them and spending over $200 on information alone, I personally believe the Candle Chef recipe book is the best bang for buck because you get a hard copy and it covers so many topics. This person does not know that I am including this in this video. I'm just being as honest as I humanly can. And I have to say, I think it would be very fun in the future to do more food candles and make them weirder. These are all very classic food candles. Peach cobbler, blueberry muffin, but wouldn't it be fun if we did like pickles? Fresh baked bread. Fragrance oil suppliers have a lot of crazy butt fragrance oils, and I just think it would be fun to try those out in like a candle. Mac and cheese. Okay, but seriously, I think mac and cheese would be fun. Chicken nuggets. We have to do this now. All right, my wax is melting. Time for me to set up all of the things on my table and actually get to cracking and stop yakking.
Okay, all of my wicks have been prepped, which took longer than I care to admit. So the next candle we're doing are the blueberry pancake candles. Gonna be using this fragrance and this color for the bottom. And I'm gonna have to stir this very carefully.
First batch poured, and I mean, they look really good, but I don't know why I always do this to myself and think, well, why not make like 6 different types? Because this took like 20 minutes and I still have 4 to go. Such is the life of a crafty person, I suppose. So for the next 4 batches, I will show you me pouring them, but I feel like it's going to get a little bit redundant because essentially I'm going to be coloring, fragrancing, pouring, coloring, fragrancing, pouring. We are back the next day. Look how good these candles look. My room must have been just the right temperature because even though these are 100% soy wax, I don't have any frosting. The jar adhesion is really, really good. The color could be more vibrant, but I was going for slightly understated colors. And so these peachy soaps are going to be the first ones we put frosting on. I have over here some wax that has been setting up. It's at the consistency now of mashed potatoes, which means it is almost there and ready to be used. Now, I know that some people like to whip their wax, and I think that would give me the smoothest consistency. However, I do not have like a whisk or beaters for this specific project, so I'm going to be whipping by hand. If over time I continue to do projects like this, I may go ahead and invest in like a little handheld blender or something. But for right now, this is kind of like a one-time thing, so it didn't make a lot of sense for me to buy one.
Okay, so I think this looks right. This looks similar to like soap frosting I've seen other people do. I mean wax frosting, not soap frosting. Okay, so let's load up my frosting bag, and I am going to try to fit in as much as humanly possible so I don't have to reload. Wax is so different from soap. It's so hard to clean. I'd rather not have to reopen open and shut and blah, blah, blah multiple times if I can avoid it. I say all that. Looks like I'm gonna have to do it at least twice. Okay, will this work? I don't know. We're just gonna give it our best effort. So let's start by adding, oh, my heat is perfect. Let's add a couple of dollops around the edges. Can y'all believe this is candle wax? Like, that's actually wild. It's kind of blowing my mind right now. I have to make sure, though, that I still keep this relatively low because I have to make sure everything actually fits in the jar and there isn't spillage. Okay, we've added in our frosting. Stay up there, you wick. You wick! Let's add in our crumble. Our little crumble. Yes, delicious. I could totally eat that. And then put in some little peaches. Stop. This is one of the greatest things I've ever made. Oh my god. It looks edible. It looked like I could eat it right now. Actually, how many peaches do I have? Do I have enough to put 3 in every one of them? I do. What if I cut this? What if I cut this in half? Yes. And then like made it stick up a little. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. I beg your pardon. What was that you say? What was that you say? A pipe another? You bet. Okay, so let's count this. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then fill it in with some little dollops, and then 1 in the middle. Kind of like 6 or so, it feels like on top. And then a peach and a peach. Okay, admittedly, that was a little high because one of my wicks is a little hidden. Don't forget the crumble. I feel like I should pipe a layer and then add some more crumble and then pipe another layer. Okay, so for this one, let's put 1 in the middle and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then a little bit of crumble, and then a dollop here and here and here and here and here and here and here. All right. And again, a little more crumble. Okay, I feel like that looks better. You need a couple layers of crumble, really. I'm even gonna put a few perfectly placed pieces because I can. All right, a peach and a peach and a little peach. Delicious. Not me running into the exact same problem that I run into with my soap frosting, which means running out. Okay, because this one doesn't have quite as much soap frosting, I'm gonna put 3 full peaches in here. That will certainly make up for any weight discrepancy, and then I will just put one of these little ones in the middle and sprinkle on all the goodness. Now that I have done one batch successfully, I know just about how much wax I need to fill up the rest of these containers and make each individual frosting for each individual container. And quite frankly, it's gonna take a while. After what feels like 4 hours later, we're ready to pipe the frosting on our blueberry soap. So here's the deal. I made this a little bit more tan because I felt like it would be fun to call it like blueberry muffins or blueberry maple or something. It's a really sweet blueberry scent. It's really not what I would consider like a fresh picked blueberry. So I was trying to add in a little bit of a baked look. And I have a bit of a trick up my sleeve as far as taking it to the next level. And with this batch, I think I made just the right amount of frosting. Enough to kind of fill everything in and have a little bit left. Now let's put on our wax blueberry embeds. These things are so big. These are like the biggest blueberry embeds I've ever seen. And they're just going to look so good. Yeah! I think putting one big blueberry in the middle is like a must. And if you've noticed, I do have some gapping on the sides. That's fine because we are going to be adding something that makes it look super cool, and it actually looks better if there's some gaps. Okay, blueberry candles done for now. Like I said, I have some things that I'm going to add to this that I think will just take it to the next level, but for now, give me a break. It looks edible. Now for our sugar cookie fragrance. The pink. It's so good. This looks incredible. And I will say, this has taken quite some time, admittedly. But I also know that if I was to do this again, it wouldn't take nearly as long. It's just because I'm inexperienced. Wow, this frosting is really looking good. Now look at these embeds. We have some little sandwich cookies. These absolutely look edible. Literally the exact same size, the exact same texture. If you didn't know, you would absolutely want to eat this. So I'm just going to start by kind of sticking one in the back. And I've got some other ones that is just one side of the cookie. And then I have some little like cookie edges that I can put in so it looks like it's a full cookie, but really it's just a half a one that I'm shoving in there. Okay, I'm going to add just a few little quote cookie crumbs unquote, opting for the smaller ones. Then I'm going to add some little sprinkles just around the edges. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to put a do not eat label on these. And wowzers, I still have to trim the wick, but tell me this doesn't look edible. It literally looks like the real thing. And once the wax is set, I can go in and trim our wicks down. But I am super proud of this one. It may be my favorite one yet. Last one of the day, which is to do strawberries and cream, strawberry milkshake, strawberry crumble, strawberry shortcake. I don't really know what we're going to call it, but it's super sweet. And I thought, let's put like a whipped cream on top. And then we also have strawberry crumble and some strawberry embeds. Now, I am by no means a professional candle maker at this point. I do sell some very simple candles in my shop, but as y'all know, it is not my bread and butter. And that being said, I really do think this would be such a fun activity to do on a girls' night at a party. It does require a fair few amount of ingredients, but I bet with all those creative, crafty people selling stuff out there that somebody has come up with a kit. Y'all remember the Five Below candle kit? Something like that, but a little better. Admittedly, that was honestly not a bad candle kit, especially the fact that it was $5. Like, it coming with a silicone mold still has me shook to this day. Time for our crumble. This is also one of the candles that I decided to add something a little bit special to after I make the candle base. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I bet you've already guessed. All right, we're going to put a strawberry in the middle and 3 little straws on the side. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's the cutest thing. I hope this video reaches the right audience. If there's someone in your life that loves dopamine decor, feel free to share, because I just feel like for the girlies that love stuff like that, they're going to eat this up. And I'm convinced they can do this themselves. Oh man. 4 down, 2 to go. I'm going to wrap up for today because I've been in the studio a fair few hours. I need to rest my creative brain, but I'll bring you in and I'll show you what we have so far. Well, I'm not going to show you all of what we have so far because it'll give away the surprise, but most of what we have so far. Where are the peach ones, Katie? Yeah, that's the surprise I can't show you yet. It's looking delectable. Then again, we have 2 more to do tomorrow, and golly dog, I understand why people are selling these things for like $35 to $40 because I have spent like 10 hours on this. And now I have the final batch of candle frosting ready to go. And I feel like I have learned so much by doing this project. At the end of the day, it is only 30 different candles, but because I did 6 different varieties, I was really able to kind of hone in the texture of the frosting. I really could figure out how the colors worked, which ones were stronger, which ones you need to add a little more to. Like, it all just ended up teaching me so much. And I know that when I make the next batch of these and I get to be a little bit more playful and I get to branch out and sort of break out of the stereotypical strawberries and cream, peaches and cream, Fruit Loops, like those are kind of the things that people typically make for these type of candles. And with the next set, I want to kind of bust out of that a little bit. I want to make like a ramen candle, a pickle candle. I want to make a crawfish boil candle. And I'm not joking either. But first, we're gonna finish up these candles, and man, I'm gonna finish them up strong. I made the labels, I cut them out using my Cricut, and I still have to show you guys the final addition to a couple of these candles that I think just makes the design like 10 times better. All right, let's get the frosting in for our last set here. I found that it doesn't actually matter that much how many dollops I put in.
it ends up looking kind of the same no matter what. So make it easier on yourself. I do 6 dollops with the Atiko 869 tip. You could do 8, but again, you won't be able to tell. Final candle. First layer. For this project, my paint scraper has been my absolute best friend. I have used it to squish all that wax down, and because of this, I have been able to use one piping bag for this entire project, all 30 candles, even though the frosting was different colors. So, paint scraper. Second layer. Trying to keep this very flat. I didn't do that on some of the other ones, but because we're adding little pieces of cereal, I think that's the best move. Well, not real cereal, wax cereal. You'll know what I mean. Get all that frosting in there. Perfect. And now the cereal embeds. Aren't these just the cutest? They look so realistic. This is probably gonna take me a while, but I am going to enjoy the process. I am gonna do the colors at random because we want it to look like, you know, more realistic. And if I try to make it patterned, it definitely won't. But every single candle will have all the colors on it. I will make sure that I do at least that. This is gonna take a while, so let me bring you guys back once I've placed all the embeds on. I'll probably bring you in for a close-up because this one looks so cute. Ta-da! Look at it. Aren't they cute? I even put the label on this so that you could see. Look how cutie patootie. Admittedly, this took a really long time because I did make sure that all of them were facing the right way, and there's like 50 of these on here, but they're so cute and so worth it. So now I just have to trim the wicks. Oh yes, here's the apple candle. So you can see it has like a little cookie. It's got the little crumble pieces on top, kind of a red and tan frosting to be kind of like cinnamony, appley, whatever. This is the one we're going to put a surprise on. And what is that surprise, you say? I'll show you. Gel wax. Come on guys, tell me you remember gel wax candles from the 90s. And probably before the 90s, but I was born in 94, and so that's when I remember them from. A lot of my friends had little gel wax candles in their bathrooms of fish, and gel wax has made a semi-comeback in candle world because people are using it as ice cubes in iced coffee and iced drink candles. And in the book, they suggested using gel wax to add syrups and glazes on top of your candles. You can fragrance it. It doesn't have as high a fragrance load as soy wax does. I'm gonna leave mine unfragranced today because it's really just for looks, and I am not using zinc core wicks, so I don't want to put too much on there. I want it to be just enough to sort of give it an effect, but not so much that it affects the burn of the candle. Let's make some syrup. And after nearly a week of crafting, I have 30 finished food candles. I learned so much during this process, and I really hope that my experimentation and sharing of resources helps you on your candle journey if you choose to start it. And if you were just here for the crafting and the giggles, well, I'm glad I could help. These candles will be available on June 6th, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time with our new soap collection, Tropical Getaway. What you're seeing on this table is literally all the stock that there is, so if you're very interested, I would suggest being there on the dot. And if you love candle videos and you like to see more crafty things, check out this one. Caleb literally spent like 20 hours editing this thing, and it's a good video, if I do say so myself. I hope you all have an absolutely royal day. Be sure you do something fun for yourself today, like checking out other food-related wax things. I saw a lady make a wax melt recently that looked like a chicken nugget, and it went into the wax melter. She put like mac and cheese looking stuff in there, and it all melted down because it was all wax. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Or maybe you just want to hang out a little more with me, and in that case, you could subscribe to the channel. We are on a road to 1 million subscribers. But you know, I don't really care what you do. Just do something for you, and I will see you guys in the next video. So until then, bye for now!